Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. We are back and better than ever. I am so excited to have such an incredible guest with us. Misty, how lucky are we that we keep getting these these incredible guests every single week? Mary, thanks for being here. I am excited to actually get to know you a little bit more about your mission, what you do, your visions. I'm super excited to hear all about it. I know I've heard many good things from you already and the team. Senior, thank you for being here. Before we get started, make sure you're following us all on Instagram. They're on the screens now, in the descriptions below. Give this video a like, give it a subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out. With all that being said, Misty, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Josie. That was awesome. I am super excited too, because this person is so phenomenal and she just joined the FLC family. And I'm so yes, this is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for you guys to hear what she does and who she is. And that is Mary Josephine. And I think this is going to be a very powerful episode. So please get out the tissues, because there probably will be some crying. Get out your pens and papers, because you want to take notes, because she's phenomenal and there's a lot of information here. So I am so super excited. So Mary, you want to kind of give everybody a little bit about who you are and what you're doing, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Misty and Josie, for that super smooth introduction, and I hope that I needed of me to be said for all the people that are listening, so that we can carry some good energy, and maybe we can answer some prayers, or maybe we can carry forward some hope. So maybe we can help to shine a light on some things for the viewers. So that's my prayer to start. And yeah, where would you like me to begin?
Just go ahead and give us a little bit about who you are, and I know you've got this purpose, this passion, and we would love to know about it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I have to say that I am a mother, because this is really what has planted this seed of this message that has to be shared within me. When I became a mother, I felt like I really understood life for probably, I don't want to say the first time, but I guess it all becomes really multidimensional when you become a parent. But it definitely gave me a deeper insight and a deeper reason to be. And so my whole movement is about helping mums and dads to unlock time and financial freedom, so that they can have choice about how they want to raise the next generation. And a lot of the people that I speak with are really all about longevity for many generations to come. So they're very forward-thinking people, and they're also not just thinking about their own children, but they're also thinking about all the children, so that next generation and those next generations to come, and really planting those seeds of freedom and truth and love within, that have been planted within us, whether it's been divinely planted or whether it's been the divine working through people, and our mentors and our own parents and guardians and grandparents and things that have planted that seed within us. But we're really looking to continue on living in a really good way with each other, with the earth, and having a very strong relationship to faith, to happiness, to joy, and just living as gently as we can, with as much choice as we can. And because there are so many people that they really need help. A lot of people really need help. They really are struggling so much. And so with the movement, we aim to help those who can invest with us to unlock time and financial freedom, so that together we can all invest time and resources into those who can't invest. And so this is where that surplus is really necessary, where we really need to be giving from an overflow of finances and of love. And funnily enough, those two things are quite linked. There's a relationship between love and money, because we need to be able to love ourselves and love the purity and innocence of our own hearts enough to be able to have that much money coming through to be able to help the people that need the help. And it's so multifaceted, because we're really addressing such a cultural, social challenge, both for the people who invest in us and for the people who can't invest in us, but who will pour our love and resource back into them and help them to achieve a better quality of life as well. So I hope that's a good summary.
Wow. Wow. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. And I completely agree with you. And I think it's really amazing what you're doing, because we see it a lot, right? That people, and how do I say this? We're in a society of settling a little bit. And what I mean by that is that we're taught that there's one way to live. You grow up, you go to school, you get a good job, you have kids, you have a family. That's it. And then you retire and you have maybe 10 years of freedom. So I really like that you're kind of changing the game. And we see it especially a lot with parents, especially mothers, that it's once you become a mother, that's all you are. Like in society, okay, you're a mum. Like your job is to be a mum, raise the kids, all of this. And who I think of right now is Elena Cardone, Grant Cardone. And what she says is actually, first of all, that is a pretty awesome title. You're a mum, like you're a mum. A mum? Like who, no, not your average person can be a mum, first of all. But second of all, there is so much more to it. You're now responsible for giving a life, like to these creatures who are growing. And it's really important that message is shared, and it's worldwide, not just mums, by the way, parents in general. So thank you for doing that as well. And I'm curious, you said that kind of once you became a mum, you understood like life and all these things a little bit more. Was there like a certain moment that happened, or was it just one day you're like, oh wow, like I get it? Or what was that like? I'm really curious.
Yeah, well, the moment that I actually thought of when I said that surprised me, because I hadn't thought about it for a while, but it was very early on in my pregnancy, and my mum was giving me some kind of treatment. I think it was Aura-Soma, something like that, with the essential oils, and there was a massage technique to go with that. And in that deep meditative space, with my mother nourishing me and then my body nourishing the life within me, it was like an aha moment of what this is all about. We're just here we're here to nourish each other, to support each other, and it's all there's a great saying about planting planting a seed for a tree that you'll never get to sit under, and that being the true meaning of wisdom. Because basically we're just leaving a place, this earth, as best as we can for those who are coming next. And a lot of what we do, we'll never see the fruits of that labor, but to know that it's being enjoyed, there's a lot of hope in that. I think children, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but we sat on this really profound note that children were the very definition of hope. By definition, that's what they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Did you have something else to say, Josie? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, sorry, just before you go, it's so true, and we see it. Jabaria says this, that children, like, they're so free and they're hopeful and they're loving, and they'll go up to anyone and be their friend. And then somewhere along the line, we're taught that that's wrong, like that the children's behavior is wrong. And even Grant Cardone says it, like when children are screaming and crying in the shops because they want this sweet, like that's seen as wrong, but they're it's not. They're being children and they're expressing, and then we're taught, no, be quiet in public, be little, be this. So yeah, completely agree. And it's time that we stop teaching children that everything they do is wrong. we should learn from children, right?
Yeah, well, I think people forget that children are only children for a certain amount of years. And then all of a sudden they're adults, and then all of a sudden they're in this pool of adults, and then we're all, very equal, to a degree. So it's almost like we're not treating them as the investment that they are. They're our greatest asset. Yes, they're going to cost us time, energy, and money. That, with this system and structure that we have in place, we don't have a lot of time, money, and energy, and that should be the first sign that the way that we're doing things is not the right way to do things. If we don't have enough time, money, and energy to pour into our young ones the way that they require us to, and that can be why it can be so challenging, because they confront us with all of those limitations that we haven't we haven't been able to break, but that's their purpose, because they come with so much pureness, innocence, love, energy, and presence. They're here confronting us with who we can be, and it can be quite challenging for people, but it's interesting how our way of earning money, the exchanging time for money, it's both a construct and it's also just completely mental. It's mental crazy, but it's a mental construct as well. Yeah. So it's I was in the Thai restaurant tonight feeding the kids, and one of the guys in there was saying he got his meal, and then the restaurant owner was like, okay, you're going back to work now, have a good night. And he's like, yeah, I can think of a million reasons why I don't want to go back, but I have to. He said, I just can't get out of it. He said those were his exact words. I have to go back. I can't get out of it. And it's so funny, because at the same time as there was, like, you could see there was a bit of like regret and resentment, but in the mix of that, at the same time, there was also some sort of sense of pride, which I found to be really telling of kind of the predicament that we're all in, where it's almost like we take pride in being limited. We take pride in, just getting by, just, finding it hard to make ends meet. not quite having enough all the time, just being behind the 8 ball all the time. It's almost like there's something to be proud of for having being held back. It's yeah, it's
Yeah, it's almost like nobody else can do this but me, and I have no choice. Instead of being, like you guys are saying, there's the kids are our hope and our future, and they are free. And there's a lot there we need to learn from them. I think we should, I personally don't think anybody should let go of their childhood, that child essence and that freedom. You should never let that go. Yes, we're going to grow up and have responsibilities, but you should still always maintain that child part of you and use it and show it in every day, because that is part of being happy and finding true freedom and happiness, is being able to embrace all of that and maintain that. And I do believe that there are things that, if anything's worth having, it's worth working hard for. So if it takes you a little bit more effort to be able to, like that gentleman, he feels he has no choice but to go back to work and do that. So if he was to put in a little extra harder work in the beginning, then over time he can get out of that and become financially free, which will help him feel freer and be able to have more choices and do things, right? But I think, like Josie said, we need to at times, without being, come on, let's not be annoying and be like total Karens about it. But we do want to be, at some point, stand our ground and be like, no, I don't want to do this. This is not how life should be. I need to change this, and how can I change this? And let's move towards that. And I think that, you know, treating our kids and not just learning from them how they view life and what they do, but also showing them, hey, let's build on this freedom and this innocence that you guys have. Let's build on that and make the next generation better. You know what I mean? Instead of like we all have been trained or taught to do, conditioned to do, is to push them down a no and just, put them into submission, which we shouldn't be doing. I think it's important that we should change the view on things. I hope that makes sense. I got it in my head. It's there.
No, I agree. I think we, like you said as well, Mary, like we're this construct that we've somehow come to that is the normal now, it needs to be changed. And something you said, Misty, just reminded me of a clip again, Grant Cardone and his kids. His youngest daughter. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But his youngest daughter is 12, I believe. 12 and 15 are his daughters. And he was doing an interview with his youngest daughter, Scarlett, and who's now 12. And she was saying she can remember when she was 8. And obviously her dad being her dad, like she's been around like big business people and quite people of big influence all her life, which is great, which is amazing. You can tell that they are so wise beyond their years. And she was saying that she can remember when she was 8 years old, she knew when people were talking down to her. Like she could tell when people didn't see her as equal. And she could also tell when people did see her as equal. 8 years old. And she was describing how it made her feel, like it made her feel little and like she should be maybe little, and she's too small and too like she doesn't know enough to be here and be in these spaces. 8 years old, and she remembers that. So it just shows how I think we take children, we don't give them enough credit at all. So yeah, everything with that completely agree with. And as well with the man you mentioned in the restaurant, it's funny, isn't it, and I don't know why this made me think of this, but I was talking to Seb the other day, and it was actually when we were talking about Enagic after your guys' conversation. I was like, Seb, what is Enagic? Because the conversation sounded so interesting. I was like, tell me. And we were talking about it, and then we got to the subject of like people think of it as like a pyramid scheme or things with like network marketing, or what we do here with like the sales with FLC. It's seen as a pyramid scheme, and it's seen as like a scam and all of this stuff. what people don't realize, and I'm sorry if this is the first time you're realizing this, is anything you go into, you think your 9 to 5 isn't a pyramid scheme? You think
Mm.
you think getting up at 8 a.m. every day, going to the office, working till 5 p.m., coming home isn't a pyramid scheme? Everything is a pyramid scheme. And I'm not saying when we think pyramid scheme, we think like bad, scam. Why does it have to be bad? Think what we do here, Enagic, network marketing, it provides so much freedom to people, time freedom, financial freedom, because you decide how much you want to make. By the way, you're not limited by you work this many hours, but you only get this much. I think we need to change our idea of what a pyramid scheme is and what is normal in society. So yeah, I wanted to throw out there. And what are your guys' thoughts on that as well? Because Seb and I were like, yeah, like why is a pyramid scheme bad? You know?
Yeah, totally. And you're so on the money too, because when you think of a pyramid, you've got like obviously the base of the pyramid, which is full of a lot more people, like volume wise. And then it goes up slightly, and that's a higher pay grade. It's a few less people. So then you got the top of the pyramid, which is like your CEOs and yeah. So the bottom rung is the workers. And this all basically comes from the Rockefeller family, right? They've been directly quoted as saying that they want workers. They don't want thinkers. And this is why school was created, to create workers, because they want that bottom rung that's going to be supporting those higher levels. And they're at the very top of the pyramid. And so I really believe that it's propaganda, actually. I really believe it actually is, because if you can keep people in a mental prison, and if you can keep them from, one, seeing what is available for them to have, and two, if they do happen to intellectualize what's available for them to have, they may believe that it's too good to be true, and therefore it's not true, and they shouldn't be going after it. And there's, because it's all mental, then when you start going for it, you are faced with a whole world of mental, emotional, and spiritual challenges. And going back to nourishing the next generation, a lot of that is because the time and energy and money that we spoke about that wasn't poured into us as assets and investments, it translates to a lack of presence with our loved ones, which is a lack of connection, which is a lack of being seen, which is a lack of being heard, and a lack of feeling safe and loved, and like everything is, completely hunky-dory. Because what are the basic things that we need? We need our family, we need food in our bellies, we need sunshine, we need a bit of time here at a natural creek or at a beach or some kind of form of water. We really don't need much at all. And yet we're all running around like, headless chickens, trying to pay our mortgages and buy the latest iPad, and yet everyone's sitting in their lounge rooms, but we're not connecting with each other. And if we're not connecting with each other, it actually creates a spiritual immaturity as well. And I really believe that the reason why, even if people do set on the path to bettering their lives and creating more ease and flow and freedom, it's challenging, especially at first, because we get scared of taking that next action, because there's a fear of that there won't be any love beyond. We know intellectually, I need to achieve this and this in my business so that I can, be more free. And we crave it so much, but what we really desire is love. And that's something that will never, ever change. It's something that's in our design. We've been made perfectly by the Creator. And it's all about love, whether you're in business, whether you're a parent, whether you're a baker down the road, you're someone that works in the supermarket, you're a farmer, yeah, any and every role under the sun, that some of them completely out there and different to the ones I've just named off the top of my head. But no matter who you are, what you want is love. You want to feel love, and you want to give love. I just spent a portion of my day today and my entire day yesterday making a new friend. And this is a guy who I believe is in his 70s, and he spent the year alone, isolated in his home. And because of that, he's developed anxiety to where he gets the shakes. So when we were first meeting, he was shaking a lot. Over the course of the day, and particularly today, the difference in him and how calm he is, and how he has this more of a sense of confidence, the shakes are gone, all from just being in contact with each other and standing within radius of each other, is provided, and a listening ear and genuine conversation and connection is provided, so much healing. And gosh, think of all the medications, think of all the things that people do to help with physical conditions, and really they just really need a lot of love and understanding all the time, whether that's with treatments as well, or sometimes we can do away with the treatments, but all the time it always comes back to love, and we just can't escape it.
Yeah, that's like I keep telling people, because I'm a caregiver by day. So I keep telling people, when you're, out in service, whether it be sales or, caregiving or whatever your position is in life, if you're going to deal with other people, you're dealing with the entire being, not just part of them. So you have to deal with the mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, every part of them. You have to take care of the entire person, whether it be you, your kids, or somebody else. You can't just focus on one part. Like, my job is not just to go and physically take care of a person physically. I have to make sure that every aspect of that person is loved and comforted, or whatever, taken care of, so they can feel not only the love, but they can feel whole and complete and like they matter. Because if you're only taking care of one aspect, then it throws it throws everything off balance, and then that's where people get angry and negative, and things are not, they just go spiral down that path, and then they start giving that out to other people, because it's like, why do I feel bad? Why don't you? So let me make you feel bad so you can join me and I won't feel so bad. So yeah, you have to, it's not our mission. I think the greatest mission that human beings have is not finding the purpose in other things. I think it is loving each other and taking care of each other as an entire being. That mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, the entire being has to be taken care of. And I think without one of us, this reminds me, is if we go out into space, if somebody goes out into space and we're like stuck, like you watch those movies, they're stuck on another planet by themselves, right? That person is not, if they're not in some sort of contact with another human being, they completely go crazy, because they're losing, and they die because they're losing that contact that we so desperately need. And you have to think about it this way. There are so many people here on this planet. Like you said, that gentleman had not had any contact with anybody else in about a year. Okay. Think about that. How many people are there in the world and around, and nobody reached out to that person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I see that all the time, which is really sad. And I do my best, but at the same time, I need to make sure I'm taking care of myself. So it's a symbiotic thing that we have as human beings. So we have to take care of each other, and we have to be able to be willing to give and take, and realize that where we're coming from as a human being does affect other people. And how are we going to handle that? Are we going to spread the good and the love, or are we going to take on the negative and say, hey, I'm going to bring you down? So I know we're off on a tangent on that end, but it's important to talk about. So
absolutely, yeah, and it brings me back to what Shabaria says about success being our duty, our obligation, and our responsibility. And to be able to achieve that success, we need to grow. So we do really need to look after ourselves so that we can grow, so that we can have that success. And just you know, it is all about the personal growth journey, because without that, then, you know, if someone were to give us, let's just say somebody gave us a few $1 million right now, and that unlocked financial freedom for us, but without the other freedoms, without the personal freedom, that money would either be put to foul use, or it would be dwindled away, and then we wouldn't have anything left, and we'd be back to square one. So the personal growth journey really is where it's at the end of the day. You know, learning how to, because it's all about leverage, you know, to be able to break out of these limiting structures, we really have to dig deep. We have to dig so deep to be able to find the strength to be able to put in those extra hours in the beginning, to really make that time investment, to make that financial investment. And, you know, so many of us, when we start thinking about investing for the first time and we get into the swing of it for the first time, it's so foreign to us. It's so scary because it's taking a risk on us, and it's you know, banking everything on our next actions and the connections that we make, and that causes us to grow. Without that risk, then we don't grow, and it can be really scary in the beginning, but it's something that we need to do, because otherwise we're just perpetuating the status quo, and the status quo results in things like you were just saying, people, you know, elderly people, for example, who have nobody reaching out to them because everybody is so distracted, just, you know, getting by, affording their bills, not realizing, I think a lot of the time, not realizing the privilege that we do actually have, and, you know, really, really, really sitting with the blessings and the gratitude of what we've been given. First and foremost, we've been given a life, and then we've been given all these incredible things on top, such as, you know, I could name so many things. I know we have issues with our tap water in a lot of modern countries, and that's something that the Enagic system does address. And, you know, we do have problems with our food chain, which is, again, something that, you know, having the high antioxidant hydrogen water can address. And just by getting, you know, that bit of cleansing happening, you have more energy. But it's realizing that you are grateful for your life, and then thinking, what's the best way for me to nourish that? And then you might find something like the Enagic system, or you might find, you know, a way to look after your health, such as fasting, or, you know, incorporating more exercise, and all of those things are an investment as well, and they're a part of that, unlocking that whole picture of personal freedom. And we have to find time to do those things in the beginning, where there feels like there's no time. And it's, again, with money, we've got to find the money to invest, where at the beginning it feels like there's no money. And we have to sort of, yeah, challenge the status quo, flex our growth muscles, and break the limitations, so that we can have better, and not just for our lives and become an example, but also to have better for those who, you know, in this life might not actually get the opportunity to, you know, whether it's because the mental barrier is just too strong, whether there's just too many generations of poverty or something like that, for example, but there's a great deal of people who need our help. And so if we can see that our lives are a blessing and a gift, then we do have a duty to be able to live it to the fullest, you know, in with the most overflowing financials we can possibly get, the best health that we can possibly have, the best relationships, you know, the most time freedom, and the best connections, and the best business ventures, and just living life full out, so that there's a surplus, an overflow, and abundance, and then, you know, and using that to help our brothers and sisters, so that we're all walking together and having a great quality of life together.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. I'm really glad you said that as well, because that's exactly what I wanted to say too. It's so funny, not funny, how complicated we've made life for ourselves. Like you said, we're so simple. What we need to be happy is so simple. And sometimes I sit back and I think about like the world and society. I'm like, how did we get here? How when did this happen? And by no means am I saying like going to get education is bad or getting a 9 to 5 job is bad. That's not what we're saying. Many jobs give a lot of purpose to people, and these things help people. So that's not what we're saying. But I think what is important is to realize that that's not life. That's not it. Your work isn't life. And exactly what you said, I think we're taught that that is the only way. And that's exactly why when people that maybe are still in that mindset meet people like us in the FLC community that have these bigger goals, these bigger visions, we're a little bit more aware of these things. We're seen as the crazy one, and we're seen as like, just why can't you just be happy, just settle, like what are you doing? People don't understand it. And it can be a little bit annoying. You just want to shake these people, be like, wake up. But what's important as well is they come from a place of love. Like people don't like what they don't understand. And I think that's really important for people that are on the journey that we're on here to remember. You are going to get people that either call you crazy or think you're crazy or send you, hey, I've definitely got it. I know Misty's got it. I'm sure everyone on this journey has got it before. But it's because people don't like what they don't know. And we're not taught that there is another way. We are taught you go to school, you get a job, you retire, you die. That's what we're taught. But yeah, it's crazy to me how overcomplicated we've made all of this. But really, there is another way. There is more to life. And as well, when you're talking about the 70-year-old man that you've been in contact with, it's so important. And I'm realizing this more recently. Connections. We aren't made to be alone. We are made to be together. And it made me think of this quote I saw. It was about mums, but really it goes for anyone, is that it's important to remember that, you know, when you're a child and you think you know best and your mum is wrong and it's like, why is she doing all this? It's important to remember that, and this makes me so sad, that it's your mum's first time at life too. It's everyone's first time at life. And I think when we think about, especially older generations, we think, oh, they're fine because like they've gone through life, like they know they're fine, like by themselves. It's their first time being that age too. It's their first time experiencing everything too, which makes my heart hurt so bad. So I think I want to share that message. Connect with people, be nice to people. Remember, everyone comes from a place of love or misunderstanding or not knowing. And there's some really bad things happening in the world right now. So the more that we can spread love and this message and just try to educate people that there is another way, that's all we can really do, and connect with people. So yeah, I hope everyone go connect with someone today. Go be nice to someone today. I also wanted to ask you a little bit more about, and this is a little bit of a topic change, but more about Enagic, but not really a topic change, because like you said, it's important, one, the information we're feeding ourselves, one, the actual food we are feeding ourselves, and that like water, food, education, nature, it's all important. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Enagic, because I think people, especially in this space, they want to get better. And a good way to do that is to be really aware of what you're putting into your body. So yeah, can you explain a little bit more about like what it is? How can people join maybe?
Yeah, sure. So the benefits of Enagic are really twofold. So it's all about unlocking, true health. This is Mr. Oshiro, the founder of Enagic, has this vision of everybody achieving true health on the planet. And the way that we do this is with hydrogen infused water, which is the highest antioxidant on the planet. It's higher than blueberries, higher than acai, and things like that. Yeah, and so it really just supports our whole bodily system by allowing our cells to detox at a way more efficient pace than by drinking regular waters, which are a lot harder on the body and actually aren't as absorbable by our cells. So our cells are so incredible. We have been designed so well that we actually are self-cleaning and self-healing, and we just need the right tools and environment. And the Kangen water, which is the hydrogen infused water that the Enagic products make, is actually more absorbable by our cells, which are already they're already contracting and expanding. It's called cellular respiration. This is their detox process. And when they're hydrated, well, let's firstly look at them when they're not very well hydrated. They're contracting, and then it's on that it's on that contraction that they're actually pushing out the toxins. And so if they're not very well hydrated, the cell it's not being able to push out as many toxins because it's not flooded with water to bring that cleaning effect in, and then getting flushed out, and more water meaning that it's higher pressure when it's kind of contracting, which means it's an even better flush. And so that's what the Kangen water does, is it just fills the entire cell. And then when it's time to contract, it's contracting, and there's just this great detox just from being properly hydrated. It's just a natural process that's always occurring, but when we hydrate the cells, we're assisting it with that process, and we're able to eliminate toxins in our bodies. And it's not just that, but it's because of the molecular change of the hydrogen infused water. The molecules are smaller, and so they're able to do incredible things like cross the blood-brain barrier, for example, which no other water can do. It can get into every single one of our cells, even the smaller ones that regular water can't even penetrate to begin with. Yeah, so a lot of chronic conditions are actually caused by dehydration, and so once the body is properly hydrated, it can just then get about and do what it was created to do, which was be healthy and happy and free. And yeah, so that's the very first benefit of the hydrogen infused Kangen water. And then the second benefit is that it comes with a generational wealth pathway, which is about unlocking true financial health. So Mr. Oshiro has has coined a concept. It's called the circle of compassion, and it's once you experience the Enagic products and it's improved your health, you then pass on that the chance to have that experience in a circle of compassion, and that would have financial rewards for you. And then there's mentoring the people that you've shared that experience of true health with, to then also, once they've unlocked their health, share that with others, and for them to achieve financial rewards as well. And if you just keep walking on the path, there's nothing else you need to figure out. As long as you just keep walking on the path of sharing with compassion, you will have unlocked generational wealth for your family, which is absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's so good in so many ways, because it's such a low level investment. When you think about other pathways that unlock generational wealth, buying an Enagic system for 6,000 Australian dollars compared to getting into real estate or something like that, for example, it's so accessible. And it supports your health. It's amazing because on the way to unlocking the generational wealth, you can sell them. You can either sell them in person, online. It really doesn't matter what strategy you choose. I choose the online strategy because I'm a homeschooling mum and I adore spending time with my children, and the online space just unlocks that level of time freedom as well as location freedom. And so while we're unlocking health freedom, we're unlocking generational wealth, which is for for generations to come. We're also, at the same time, just by walking the path, we get incredible financial rewards. We have a selling system that unlocks time freedom. And so it's not as if we're all working towards something in the future, and it'll be many years before we get to experience any kind of real shift. It's just by walking the path, we're already experiencing those time and financial and health shifts all at once, just by being on the path. It's so, yeah, I just think it's the most generous I want to say compensation plan. Some people might call it a pyramid scheme, but it's one of the most generous business models I have ever seen. And it's something that'll be with me for life, not only because I have had a major health breakthrough with the system, but also because of what I'm creating for my children, and hopefully inspiring not just thousands, but millions of mums and dads and grandparents, aunties and uncles, the world over, to give this gift to themselves, their families, and the next generations as well.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. And the science behind it's really interesting too. Sorry, Misty, I want to quickly, I know you were ready to go.
You're good.
Quickly say to anyone listening that maybe is thinking, yeah, but okay, it's special water. Okay. Why would I go spend money for that? What's important to realize is, do you feel better when you eat properly? Yes. Do you feel better when you sleep properly? Yes. Do you feel better when you exercise properly? Yes. You will feel better when you hydrate properly. And it's a little bit of a shock. I don't know that water from the tap isn't the best water for you. And that's exactly what I feel like Enagic is fixing with what they do. So just imagine if you were to actually, and all that science that, and I can't repeat that right now, but just imagine that was happening in your body. Would you feel better? Yes. And when you feel better, you can do better. You can be there for your kids. You can be there for people around you. You can show up better. So that's what's so special about special water for anyone that has these kind of limiting beliefs. And I think what's really cool about this is that you get it, you feel better, you do better, and then not only are you selling it to other people and you're creating that generational wealth for yourself, you're helping other people also feel better, and then they will create. And it's this whole effect, which is so cool. And this is what Seb and I were finding so funny, is like, okay, if that's a pyramid scheme, then I love my pyramids. Like, give me the pyramids. I love triangles. Like, this is what we found so funny. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing about that. And if anyone is interested, definitely, we have all of Mary's details where you can reach her in the description as well. So yeah, definitely reach out. Yeah, 100% recommend. That's my 2 cents.
I have to say, Master Shri Krishna, when he found out about the Kangen water machine, it's what I know it by, the Enatic or whatever. When he did that, he did a couple of different events where he was offering it to people. Phenomenal thing. I've always wanted one. I just haven't been able to at that place where I can get one yet. But I thought, okay, once I can get to a certain income level, that's the first thing I'm buying. That's the first thing I'm buying because I want one so bad. And everybody else is looking at me like, why do you want that? And I'm like, have you not seen the benefits of it? Let me show you. Because it's so amazing. And it's
Misty,
like, so.
We need to talk. We need to talk because it's not as expensive as you think. There's a lot of different payments.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, oh my God. But then I kept thinking, because I wanted to do what he did and buy one for everybody in the family. Like,
yeah, I've done that. That's what I've done.
Like, let's chill out. I gotta get something. Let me get there first. But yeah. So amazing ladies. This has been such an amazing conversation. And I think a very important one. Because even though we're talking about this, the Enatic, I know I'm saying it wrong, water system, it still goes back to the first things we were talking about, which is loving each other and connecting with everybody. It all comes back together. And like I said, we're here, even, as human beings, we have this symbiotic connection, just as us as human beings, but we also have a symbiotic connection with the earth. And so everything comes back to circle and comes back together. And I think it's all important that we really wake up and wake up in a way that, not like this being a woke where you're being a nuisance and causing more problems. I think wake up as in, how can I benefit not only myself but everybody else and the earth, and come back to the way we should be living and not trying to control and being all whatever, kind of chaotic. So anyway, without me continuing ranting on, with all that being said, is there anything you ladies would like to add or say as we go to wrap up here?
Final words.
Final words. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I would say that you should approach life with the notion that anything is possible, and if that were true, which it is, but we just pretend that it is if it doesn't feel like so. What is it that you would do if you could? Because you can, and I want to encourage you to go out there and do it.
Oh, I love that. It's so true. Yeah, absolutely. I think we covered many things, many different things today, but all under the same umbrella, if you will. And I want to echo what Mary said. Like, why can't you have it all? We're taught that you can't have it all. Why? Why? You can be healthy, you can have a good family, you can have good finances, you can travel, you can have it all. You just need to believe that you can first. So go out there. If anyone has any questions, or you want some extra guidance in these areas, message us, message Mary. This isn't just for, I know we spoke a little bit about like being a mom or being parents or kids. This is for anyone. The freedom lifestyle is for anyone. Everyone should have that. So yeah, I think to summarize everything we covered today is, you can have it all and you deserve it all, and you owe it to yourself and everyone else that you can help in the process of having it all. to go out there and do your best in life. So yeah, go out there, make the most of it. And like Mary so rightly said, if it was possible, what would your goal be? What would your ideal life be? Go out there, make it happen, because you can.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think I just want to add on to that if you're feeling like you can't, for some reason you can't, there's an if or there's a but or something standing in the way, reevaluate that, because you can. It's only where you're focusing your energy to what comes up into your life. So if you want to be free and you want to do good and you want to do better and you're feeling like I can't, I don't have time, I don't know how to do that, this everybody else will say I can't do this, it's not realistic, I can't. Okay, cut out everything else. Refocus your energy, because you can, and it is possible. So what do they say when they say impossible? I am possible.
I am possible, yeah. And really quickly, I know I summarized.
No,
This
you can't say nothing else.
helps.
That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll just leave. No, really quickly, because this really helped
Great
me put
brain.
things in perspective. Yeah, you just mute me. No, this helped me put things in perspective. Is most of the time when we have these thoughts, I can't do this, or someone else is telling you can't do this. Most of the time, we're taught that from somewhere else. We don't actually believe that. So it's important to ask yourself, and we ask our students this a lot as well, is who taught you that? Where did that idea come from? Because it's not yours. It didn't come from you, that's for sure. So yeah, who taught you that? Who taught you can't? Silly Billy. I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. It has been such an incredible episode, an incredible conversation, and I absolutely love this. I cannot wait to see what comes from it and how it's going to affect other people in their lives, and how it's just going to make a ripple effect. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us this week. We had so much fun. Be sure to keep learning. You can do anything. Remember, here's where the freedom lifestyle begins, and it always starts with you, and then it just ripples out to everybody else. So from everybody here at the FLC family, welcome to the family. Or once you're family, you're family for life. You just can't get rid of us. We're here. Sorry. We may skip a week or so, but hey, we're here. And so be sure to like, comment, share, help us reach as many people as possible, because we truly, honestly believe everybody deserves to be free. So help us reach everybody we can. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you.